So the Greeks have totally taken over U of L student government. And even though they've taken it over, they haven't, being sociable. You would think that frats and fraternity, they would be in favor of people who like freedom. I also want to legalize gay marriage at U of L, but Kurtis Frizzell and Travis Gault were against me on this, and left me out to dry, right? So it shows you they don't actually care about any principles. They don't have any moral core. They only do what their daddies and their mamas tell them what to do. They only care about what the administration tells them. They cannot do anything past that. Let's just start with this one, okay? So I've introduced 3 bills. Legalize gay marriage. Here's the 2011-2012 SGA Act to restrict tuition hikes. So the president of the student government at U of L sits on the board of directors with the big boys, right? And so every year they vote on raising the tuition, and they raise it every time. But the president of the student body shouldn't be raising it along with them. They shouldn't be doing it with them. They shouldn't be robbing, the collective body with. They shouldn't do it. It should never be a popular issue, and they shouldn't have that. Okay, so this law would have stopped them from doing it. Therefore, it made it illegal for any president to jack up our tuition. But what does a bunch of Greeklife rich kids, what do they know about, helping out with the working students? They don't know crap about it. So I had no, basically no say-so at U of L either, along with the graduate school. You reach out to the student government, and I was on so many different things. Basically, I felt like so-called progressive people wanted to see me fail, and I failed. So good job, you guys. Progressives could have had some power, but so let's read this. Travis Gault, he was all, it's not written very good, blah blah blah. Then he tries to get me kicked out of the whole university. Like, what a dick. Not only are you not here for me, not only have you been here for 10 years taking everybody's jobs and shit, but he's going to insult me too. Let's see. So there's 3 bills. One was the 52 cardinal freedoms. So I documented all the freedom into one student bill of rights, right? 52. So we would have had 52 cardinal freedoms. The president couldn't have jacked up our, our tuition whenever they wanted to. And on top of it all, gay marriage would have been legalized. But Travis Gault and Kurtis Frizzell, this is not what they wanted. They did not care about these things. They only wanted to be, the corrupt. I have no idea what they even did, to be honest with you. But let's read this, okay? He went, oh, it's not written well. Oh, it's not? Okay, well, let's see here. Whereas the senators of U of L's SGA empathize with working students. I lost them right there. They don't empathize with working students. They are a bunch of spoiled rich kids, okay? So, and that's great. This is the future of, these are Mitch McConnell students. This is the future of the political establishment in Louisville. I think so, unfortunately. So, whereas they empathize with working class students who need to save every nickel and dime they can for books, rent, internet, car insurance, diapers, etc., in those difficult economic times to make ends meet. Well, they're not rich kids. What do they care? Whereas college tuition at U of L was $2,000, 7 years ago has increased over 400% in less than a decade. Whereas college tuition in Kentucky is now $9,000 annually, $36,000 every 4 years, continually rising 6% every year with no hope of anybody stopping it, whereas $10 million shouldn't be given to the university's bureaucracy at the blink of an eye for any reasons of whim. $10 million, whereas $10 million makes up a meager 1.25% drop in the $800 million budget for the university's bureaucracy. $800 million, that's the whole budget for the University of Louisville, whereas $10 million would be better spent by the SGA, who has a $600,000 budget. So, essentially, raising that $10 million gives the university the money, but it doesn't give SGA the money. So here I'm pointing out how they would be better spent by using the money themselves. So why would the president raise the tuition on the general student public just so the administration would have more money? You know, and the administration, it's not divvying down. It's not, you know, they're not giving the scraps. It's not like they're making better teachers or anything. Basically, it's like secret $1 million deals. That one dude got fired or somebody for stealing some money or something, some weird accounting things going on. So the Black Student Union's got a $20,000 budget. The SGA's got a $500,600 budget. Or any other student union who have the students' best interest in mind more so than the university's bureaucracy, since they are literally the students. So why jack up tuition $10 million, which is what 6% usually is, whereas President Ramsey is getting a pay raise and a bonus along with selected staff during the time when massive Frankfurt budget cuts are happening, and Governor Steve Beshear had warned it is going to hurt. So there's budget cuts, it's going to hurt, but the president of the university plus his selected staff was getting a pay raise and a bonus. So they were getting more money and extra money. Whereas CPE, the Center for Public Education, Frankfurt and the Board of Trustees all blame each other, and then they spread the blame around and nobody's held accountable for the annual tuition robbery, right? So blame it on CPE, I think Center for Public Education. Basically, they run the universities. Frankfurt Board of Trustees, right? They're part of it's the President Board of Trustees, and CPE is Frankfurt. U of L's Board of Trustees tuition hikes are strategically chosen in June, during the summer after the seniors graduate and a new president's been elected, in order to slip the tuition hike in as an annual event. So everybody graduates, the senior president of the student club or of the student council is no longer president. What do they care if tuition hike is jacked up by the next president? It's in June, so the paper won't cover it. They won't cover it ever. They won't cover it in June, July, or August during the summer months. And they definitely won't catch up because it's old news by then that this robbery, this $10 million robbery happened every year. Whereas virtually every member of the student population thinks tuition is too expensive. I haven't met one person that's like, you know what, this tuition is perfect. I love it. It's like free Mexico. Mexico has free tuition, and but not America, because Mexico is a richer country than America. Mexico can afford college for their children, whereas Americans cannot and don't care. So SGA is supposed to be the main advocate for the student populace. We're automatically conscripted into their program. If you read the Constitution, if you're a student of U of L, automatically the student body, the student council, they say they represent you regardless if they do or not. Whereas voting in favor of a tuition hike is acting against the best interest of the student populace, which flies in direct contradiction of Section 4.11.1 of U of L's 1977 SGA Constitution, which is the Constitution they use right now. It's 77, but who actually reads it? Is it the student code of the dean? Is it the Constitution of the whole, Kentucky? Nobody knows what founding documents are actually being used at U of L. The Section 4.11.1 that I'm talking about, it says President, Executive Vice President, Academic Vice President, or Services Vice President may be removed from office for acting against the best interest of the student populace. So if you act against this best interest, which is what raising tuition, hiking up tuition is not in the best interest of the student populace, so therefore you should be kicked out. Every president should be kicked out at U of L for raising tuition, the student body, and the actual president. Whereas any member of the student populace at U of L is allowed to petition the development board for the initiation of impeachment proceedings. So who's the development board? Nobody knows. But if we knew where that board was, we would push for impeachment of those who vote against the best interest of the student populace. Whereas the U of L annuals, the rally for higher education, isn't just empty posturing. Whereas in real politic terms, there's never any reason for a student representative to ever vote for unnecessary tuition hikes, since the 19 votes of the trustees are going to vote for it. There's 20 trustees. They're already going to do it. Why would the president of the student body, why would they do it? So they've done it for the last 20 years. Your one vote doesn't matter anyways, and the Board of Trustees would completely understand that the president of the student council does not want to vote in favor of a hike of tuition. This is an easy bill. This is clearly right. The SGA president has everything to lose by voting for a tuition hike, nothing to gain. Inversely, SGA president has everything to gain by standing up to the university's bureaucracy and nothing to lose. This logically makes zero sense for any SGA president to ever vote for a tuition hike ever. Therefore, be it resolved that the SGA president and any additional student representatives added to the Board of Trustees is hereby restricted from voting in favor of any proposed tuition hikes proposed by the university's Board of Trustees. It's a good written bill, but Travis Gault, being the dick that he fucking is, you know, he wouldn't let me kiss a man. Travis Gault wouldn't let me kiss a man. Instead, he stops my ability to kiss a man by going to the dean and saying, hey, he wrote this song, this bad song about you. And the song, I still remember it. Fuck the dean and the American dream. There's no such thing as time to get mean. Douse the capital, kerosene, gasoline, strike a match, watch it gleam. I got tiger's blood like Charlie Sheen. Redistribution of wealth is what I'll bring from my black baseball team. Fuck the dean, the American dream. There's no such thing, time to get mean. Here's a U of L Students' Bill of Rights, 52 cardinal freedoms, and another one that I was writing. Not only do we need a student Bill of Rights to protect the rights that we have, but basically this one day at U of L taught me that they don't give a damn about working class students. They don't give a damn about your freedoms and your rights. Because inversely, if they're killing 52 cardinal freedoms, and these are freedoms that are already guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, Kentucky's Constitution, and from U of L's own documents. So I wrote this. Again, Travis Gault says that it wasn't written well. That arrogant, fucking stuck-up piece of shit. He was a bad human being, but that's the point. Me and Skylar Grodick, we didn't actually have a good, I should have, you know, presented or opened the bill, and then he should have called for the vote. Immediately, it took forever for that fucking chair to even let me speak. Well, should we allow him to speak? What do? I can't stop him from speaking. Oh my God, a student might actually get some rights at this stupid university. Oh my God, I'm a student allowing another student actually to have some speaking time at the student council. Fucking dick. So the Cardinal Bill of Rights, we're going to get to it, 52 freedoms. But that's essentially, this is, and one day I found out that they were against me having freedom, me having a Bill of Rights, me having 52 cardinal freedoms. They didn't want that. They didn't want me to have, you know, put a tent out in the yard. I wasn't allowed to have a tent. I wasn't allowed to have any freedom in the classrooms. It was boring and stupid, and it was dumb. It was, you know, U of L, I finished my degree and went on and got through, but really, you know, my heroes was the dean of the arts and sciences colleges, Dean Blaine Hudson. He had, in order to get the black department, to get African studies, African American studies, he had chained himself to one of the buildings, including Jared Neal, right? So there's a black power movement that was happening at U of L, and they was able to get the Black Student Union, and they was able to get the African American, the Black Studies program, which was happening in all the universities. So the dean of the science building had taken over our building, and now he was the dean. But I wonder how many students actually got kicked out. So I wonder if he had anybody on the inside, if he had a good lawyer or something to allow him to keep his position. Because how did he become the dean when he had locked himself? You know, I bet there's probably other kids that had got suspended for years, you know. and there was no freedom anywhere at all, right? It was like, wait a second, you're thinking about freedom? You have a tent up. What's this tent about? I'll let you have this tent until midnight, and then I'm going to take it down, because that's how we roll around here. No, we are not for Occupy. We're the establishment. We want to kill all the free radicals, just like an antioxidant. So yeah, U of L, that was the SGA hikes. Poorly written? Yeah, right. It was greatly written, asshole.